There's a part of me that wants to ask these folks how much time they put in each week to be able to not just play music, but to be able to pray music. Because these aren't just random musicians, right? And we're incredibly blessed by them. There's a part of me that wants to go back and look at the history of Calvin. Pre-Dick Anderson even. And think about all of the time and all of the energy that has been spent in this very holy space. And how that has infused God's Spirit in this place. Some of you might have heard me say it before. I think I'll say it again, that if someone would hit the lottery, I hope you don't play. It's a poor man's tax. But if someone would come and say, I've got a bunch of money, David, and I want to build a big church on the hill, I'm not sure we would feel called to do that. Because this is hallowed ground. You know it. I'm learning it. Okay, so first off, I'm pretty sure that I'm not the only one here who looked at their calendar or their watch or the bulletin and said, August 7th? What the heck happened to summer? I mean, September is right around the corner. Just 4 weeks away. Don't blink. Before you know it, we'll be right back into the swing of things. And I can't wait for you to join us as we kick off the new calendar year. I am calling it the weekend in the second weekend in September, kick-off weekend. We have an amazing musical celebration with dinner on Saturday, September 10th. Put it on your calendars now. Dinner, music, Calvin. Saturday, 9/11. And you'll be hearing more about this in the coming weeks. And then starting the very next day for 2 straight weeks, September 11th and the 18th, right over there in Fellowship Hall, we're having an intergenerational, right? Meaning youth formation and education and spiritual ministry teams working together, young Calvin and vintage Calvin and everyone in between for a Mr. Rogers-inspired, fun-filled event. 2 weeks. Dust off your cardigans. I don't know about you, but I don't know whether to joyfully giggle like a child on Christmas because we get to be in this sacred space, because we get to grow together in this holy place, or to curl up in a ball and cry because I feel like I missed summer. Where did it go? I mean, the kids are going back to school. They're gearing up, right? And we're all getting back into what we call the rat race, where we have 1,000,001 things to do, places to go, and people to see. How does that sit in contrast to your bulletin cover? to alertness of the new things God is doing. So, Jen comes from a family that's always 15 minutes early. And I come from a family that's always 15 minutes late. You might think that together we're on time, but we're not. We're 15 minutes early. Do you ever feel like you spend your life, like Jen, waiting for other people to get ready? Or you're on the other side of the equation, like me, bringing up the rear. Or maybe you're like our kids, who could never seem to understand that getting ready on time is too late, because being early is what we do. It's who we are. And to be fair, it's only taken me 25 years at the end of this month to figure all that out. Anyways, parents often feel like life is one cycle of hurry up and wait. A dad named Rodley LaCroix posted the following thoughts on Twitter about his kids. What I say, be ready, we're leaving in 5 minutes. What the child hears, get undressed. Start finger painting. Lose at least one shoe. Kids can be forgiven, right? For not understanding the concept of alertness, of readiness, of preparedness. But it's a lot harder to laugh it off when it happens with us adults. In today's lectionary lesson from Luke's gospel, Jesus is trying to prepare his disciples for how to live their lives after his death and resurrection. He's trying to warn them about this for the last 12 chapters. Depending on which gospel you've read, he's warned them between 3 and 7 times, but they just don't understand. They just don't get it, do we? Let me tell you, session never feels this way. It's kind of like Rodney LaCroix's tweet about what I say and what they hear. This whole chapter of Luke 12 could be entitled Alertness. And we need to pay close attention to it because it's a message that is infinitely more important to us today than it was for his disciples 2,000 years ago. Think about it. The disciples were distracted by their political mindsets, by military coup thoughts, by hyper-religious agendas. And what are we distracted by? What are all the things that we are distracted by these days? Jesus unmistakably and repeatedly talks about wealth being the great distraction. And don't get me wrong, it most certainly is, was, and forever shall be. So what is different about today than 2,000 years ago? I'm going to say, for one good example, media. They didn't have media to distract them. And for us, it wasn't long ago that David Gilmour wrote about having 13 channels of expletive, meaning nothing, on TV to choose from. And even more recently, that Dire Straits played a guitar riff and Sting sang, I want my. And nowadays, we've got infinite music, infinite shows, infinite movies, infinite news, and just about anything that anyone could ever imagine on demand. You don't even need to rush from dinner to go catch the beginning of the show. It's on demand from countless streaming services, not only on the TV in our homes or the TVs in our homes, but on each and every screen, each and every computer, tablet, and phone that we own. Criminy, I believe you can even watch and listen to it on your phone or on your watch, but I've got to ask my kids to teach me how to do that. Dick Tracy, right? The Jetsons. It's here. It's real. I'm telling you, if alertness was important enough for Jesus to mention to his disciples 2,000 years ago, these days he'd be pounding alertness into our heads with a King Kong-sized baseball bat. So the question is, how do we stay alert? How do we stay alert? I'll be the first to say that each and every one of us is different. I'll also be the first to say that at different points in my life, I needed different disciplines to help me stay alert. For some, myself included, it's mindfulness. It's prayerful meditation. Thanks to my spiritual director, I do a minimum of 10 minutes of it every day. It is such a lifeblood that I discovered this summer on vacation just a month or so ago, how desperately I missed it. And so even on vacation, I was sitting in silence, prayerfully listening, allowing God to guide, to direct, to pour down the blessings. For others, it's study. Still, for others, it's prayers. And for others, it's service. And for all of us, the foundation of alertness unquestionably is worship, along with a mix of these other things. Truth is, there are probably as many ways to stay spiritually alert as there are platforms and medias on which to listen to your favorite or watch your favorite movies and news, and etc. In this, the 12th chapter of Luke, and in these verses, Jesus is saying that the key is to change our mindset. He's saying that following him is not something that you do, it's something that you are. It infiltrates your very being. He's saying that we need to shift from doing Christ-like stuff to being Christ-like, period, full stop. And that's not easy considering the multitude of distractions that we have. So yeah, being a disciple takes discipline. Being a follower requires persistent practice. To have alertness, it must become a holy habit. It must be a regular part of your and my day, a regular part of our day, as regular as brushing our teeth. So brush well. Friends, during this holy time, in this sacred space, on this divine ground, choose alertness. over the millions and millions of distractions we all have from today's media and far beyond it. Choose to shift your mindset from doing Christ-like stuff to being Christ-like. Not just the hour that you're at church, but for each and every breath you take. And yes, for each and every move you make. Because our faith is not something we do. It's something we are. And once you have done this, once you're alert, you can create holy spaces on the work sites with young men and young women that you're raising up, at your homes or on vacations across the country, wherever you go and whenever you need it. Amen? Amen.